Hey guys, Funkymusic here. And today I want to talk about UIs again. It's something that I've brought up in the past and we've kind of talked about here and there in the past about just terrible UIs and what are people doing exactly with these UIs. Now, I understand UIs, people think that they need all of these crazy add-ons and they have to have all this stuff in order to see everything. But there's no way that you're keeping an eye on all of this stuff. I don't care who and what you are. That's just not going to happen. So let's pull up this UI. Now, I seen this the other day. I actually had to follow this guy's stream to actually say something to him and ask him why he's using all these crazy add-ons. I'm assuming the WA is from QE's site. Now, I just want you to notice, look at how much room he actually has. You got grid on the left. You've got, I don't know what's going on here above the grid. He's got more main tank, off tank, and their targets. He's got other stuff going. I don't understand what all this is. He has a range check going on up here. Of course, the very top of his screen, that the red with the black, is his overlay for Twitch. But he's got a malleable goo. He's got choking gas bombs. He's got there's just all this stuff. His target, all of his buffs. He's got berserk, enraged. He's got all these other timers over here on the right, and then he's got absorbs and healing. You know, here in the bottom right hand, all these buttons. Dear Lord, why does he need all these buttons? He doesn't. Looks like he's not even using so many of them. I never had that many, and why are they scaled so huge on the screen? This whole thing to me is ridiculous. Now, I want you to look at how much space you're actually getting here. I mean, I don't care if you're playing on a TV. I don't care if you're playing on a 55-inch monitor. This is basically where you're able to see. I mean, everything else is blocked by something. And you need more of a minimal UI. I think this is a problem on warming. People trying to put too many add-ons in. People cluttering their screen with useless add-ons, things they don't need. Damage meters aren't really necessary. I get why streamers do it, so I totally understand why he has it up here. People do want to see that information on the stream. 100% I get that. You're going to have raid frames. 100% get that. You're going to have your buttons up there. 100% agree with that as well. And you're going to have some kind of DBM. I get that. But the rest of this stuff can all go. And really, even if you're a raid leader, you don't need all this extra junk on your screen. Like, this is just all complete garbage from what I'm looking at. Like, it's all garbage. It's just stuff you don't need. He's playing melee. He really doesn't need a range check on this at all. I don't know why he even has that popping up. To get rid of that. Get rid of the range check. There's so much that could be scaled down here in order to see better. I mean, how do you guys see on that little tiny screen? You're basically taking, even if you had let's assume here he's playing on a 32-inch monitor. On a 32-inch monitor, you're effectively cutting that down to like a 10-inch monitor, and you really have a hard time seeing what's coming with all this cluttered UI stuff. I see this way too much with too many people having these buttons that are so huge, humongous, just ridiculous. Now, here, I want to show my UI. Now, I have yet to finish doing my UI and setting it all up the way I exactly want it. But this is about the rough, what you should have roughly for a UI, in my opinion. It's not too much. It's not, overbearing, etc., etc. And his UI and my UI kind of are similar because we're both using ElvUI. But mine's obviously set up, a lot to be less cluttered. I want to be able to see things coming from a mile away. I want to see Malibu Goo coming out of the corner of my screen. I want to be able to see, an ad flying across the screen on Vlithra Dreamwalker. I want to be able to see who's getting tombed and where they are standing so I don't run near them on Syndragosa. There's so many reasons why you need to keep your UI clean and less cluttered. I also think this is a byproduct of people not playing the zoom out game far enough either. You do want to have your camera. You can set it way further out than what it'll go just in the normal settings. There's a script for that. I don't know why people play so far zoomed in either. I think that's you're headed for disaster. It's not going to help your raid. It's not going to help you DPS. It's not going to help you avoid anything. You really need to play at max zoom. And guys, this has been a problem on Warmane for a long time. We've had UI videos before, but this is a guild that is doing 25 ICC. and a guy who is actively streaming. And the problem with this is people come and see these streams and just see how like they see all these cool things lighting up every which way, and they're like, wow, I gotta have all these things. These things are making him DPS and be in this guild and da 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 da. When in reality, none of that's true. None of it is true. None of this is really helping him. You don't need a MSBT. You don't need all these. You can run fine with the DBM, regular DBM add-on, and just move it to where you want it. You don't need LVUI. You don't need 60 buttons on your screen. Like you don't need all this extra stuff. It's not necessary to do good damage. And you can run yes, you should have a grid of some sort. But knowing what your tanks are, who they're tanking, I mean, that's more or less, I guess, if you're a raid leader kind of thing, or if you're one of the tanks, sure, you could have that there. Who's on what for cooldowns? Yeah, if you're raid leading, again, but there's other apps, and you don't need to make them that big. There's not other apps. There's other add-ons, and there's ways to scale this stuff down to not make it just so crazy. And anyways, guys, that's my take on these UIs. I really wish people would change their UIs, kind of scale them down in order for them to be able to see better. I think a lot of deaths and a lot of dumb stuff I see on Warmane comes from these people paying attention to too much on their UIs. Unless you're streaming stuff like this, people really don't. Nobody's really going to notice, MSBT. You don't need that. It's not necessary at all. I run it, sure, but mine's way off to the right. It's kind of it's way out of the way. And I have it set up so I know when I'm entering combat and exiting combat. If let's say somebody pulls and they're around the corner, I don't see them pull or something like that, I have MSBC set up for notifications so I know when I'm entering combat and leaving combat. But other than that, I just have my outgoing and combat plus minus, and that's it. I see plenty of people who just run MSBT as it is, and that porky font, it is utterly horrible for people who do that. But there's so many ways here to clean up your UI and make it look more aesthetically pleasing. So guys, I'll do a UI video myself because I've been asked quite a bit here lately to put a new UI video out, so I will do that. And my UI is a lot more it's very minimal for what you need. Sure, there are other add-ons that you could probably get. There's WAs you can get, and I do have WA. I need it to track. It's more DPS things than I am so much worried about it tracking healing things. I guess some healers would want it to time out stuff with their procs on their weapons or trinkets, etc. It really doesn't matter for Resto Druid too much. My GTS proc, to see how long it can go, to see how long it's up, that's about it. Other than that, I really don't use it as Resto Druid. It's more of a, more of a feral thing, so I know when my STS and stuff like that proc, so I know when I can call for Hysteria. Now that I totally get, but there's other add-ons such as Power Ores Classic, there's Event Alert, there's other ways and other add-ons that are much lighter, that you can track those things with, and they do the same thing that WA does, just WA makes it look, you can skin it differently, I guess, and make it look pretty. I mean, but at the end of the day, it still does the same thing. It just, I'm using way less memory than you guys are using it. To each their own. And so, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Why, I really want to get this across to, the community that, these add-ons, man, there's so many of them that are not necessary. I mean, you could basically run with a mouse over add-on with such as Click, Raid Frames, and DBM, and really, that's about all you need. I mean, other than that, I could run without anything else. LVUI just makes it look pretty, and kind of cleans up the Blizzard UI a bit, makes it look a little bit sharper, crisper, and I can move things where I want them. So that's why I run LVUI. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you later.